Hey everyone, this is Dan and welcome to episode 9. So for today's video, we're going to talk about something that I think would be helpful to you as the client or for someone who is new to the idea of hiring a detailer. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've had a lot of conversations with my clients in the past and even new prospects. And this might be helpful for you if you're new to all of these things because sometimes you have an idea of what you want or would like, but it's better to have a conversation that is more productive for both yourself and your detailer as well. And I've been detailing for nearly 10 years and I've came across of a lot of things, but the one thing that I've noticed that is very common amongst a lot of people is the fact that there's not enough clarity. So once again, how can you communicate better to your detailer and how can you give more clarity to what you're looking for to make things go a lot more smoother? While there's many services that we can talk about, I think I'll go ahead and highlight paint correction for the sake of this video. And when it comes to paint correction, there's a few ways that it can be done. There's the multi-stage paint correction, there's a single stage paint correction, and of course there's a light machine polish. Now in my case, those would be considered the good, better, and best when it comes to paint polishing, and I refer to those services as paint correction, one-step polishing, and deep gloss enhancement. And I like to try to name them in a way that it makes a little bit more sense because not a lot of people are familiar with the idea of what correction means, but a lot of people can or are familiar with the idea in words such as enhancement and polishing. So just to kind of give you an idea of why I did those things, I tried to make it a little bit more easier to understand up front. But again, I even recognize even myself that sometimes those things can get a little bit more confusing in a sense. And I think when it comes to just those things, you either know you want these things or you don't. But for those who think you know what those are, I think when you're trying to communicate to a detailer like myself, for example, perhaps maybe be more specific. And I think one of the best ways to do that is explain to your detailer the reason why you're looking into these types of services and what the project entails and what your frustrations are. And if you have been to a different detailer in the past, but they didn't quite deliver on the results, perhaps maybe explain that to them as well. And I think to kind of give you permission to, it's okay to shop around if you need to. And that's not, I'm not saying to necessarily to go to myself, but I'm just saying if you're searching around, it's okay to understand why you need to. Now, with that being said, when it comes to the different types of paint polishing process that are offered out there, perhaps also talk about with your detailer about the type of results you're looking for in a reasonable expectation level. Are you looking for something that's not perfection? Are you more interested in preserving the paint? Are you okay with a realistic viewing distance knowing that there will be scratches left over and swirl marks, but ultimately you're okay with the idea of more clarity? Now, I know that I mentioned that for this video I was only going to talk about paint correction, but perhaps we can go into something more common. And a common service that people look for would be interior cleanings or interior detailing, which is the way is more well known. But I call it such because, again, people understand the idea of what cleaning is but they don't know how much detailing is done, because I've had reports of clients who have came to me and they said that they had a detail in the past, but they missed this and that. So again, I tried to kind of broaden out for people to just refer to it as a cleaning in a sense. And if deeper interior detailing needs to happen, then that's a conversation that we have for another time, such as when I see the vehicle in person. But when you are looking for an interior detailing or interior cleaning, I think it would be best to also not feel ashamed of the condition of the vehicle that you think it may be in, because in some cases, the more upfront you are with people, it just shows that you're not hiding anything from your detailer and that you want the best results. Because in most cases, if you say the car is not that bad, it does turn out to be worse in person. But when you are very specific with your details, saying, you know what, I understand that this car hasn't been done in quite a few years, or I've never seen a detailer since I purchased this vehicle back a few years ago. And the vehicle, by the way, does see pets, and I do have a family, and it's used very hard. Those are the specific details that we like to hear, because it gives us an opportunity to have that picture painted for us. And when we do see the vehicle in person, in most cases, I know for myself, when a prospect or a client describes their vehicle as such, it typically is not as bad as we had in our brain to begin with. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, is it can save the frustration not only for yourself, but even for us as well. And our job is to, of course, clean the vehicle, but we want to give you the best service as best as possible to begin with. So those are things that I would consider when talking to your detailer or myself even. And to kind of summarize this whole video in a nutshell, the more specific you can be with your detailer, or the more clarity you have upfront with what you're looking for, the better the results will be for you. But also, the better the project is going to go for us as the detailer. And it would save time by having a better conversation with your detailer. Sometimes that helps narrow down the fact that we may be maybe offering you an overkill of a service, and that can save you money overall. And simply, it will save the frustration for all of us. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any other thoughts on this video or would like to ask a question, please leave it in the comments down below. And if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up as well, because it is very helpful for me to understand what kind of topics people are appreciating, and that I can make more of these types of videos for you in the future. But anyway, this is Dan, and I'm signing off. Take care.